Hey, in this episode of Urban Monk TV, we're going to talk about motorcycle tire cupping, specifically cupping with the Shinko 705. Welcome to Urban Monk TV. Okay, so many of you who watch my channel know that I'm a big fan of the Shinko 705 tires for the Suzuki v-strom. These tires also come in sizes that fit the BMW GS motorcycles, the 1150, 1200, 1250, I believe. Don't quote me on that last one, but this is a line of tires that has definitely been focused at this market, and there's a lot of them out there. They're also an extremely good value. If you would like to see some videos that I've done on my experience with these tires, you can watch one of them here. Before we get into this, I just want to mention my channel is getting very close to 10,000 subscribers. I've been at this since the year 2015 and feeling the push. Like, help me get there, guys. Really enjoy doing this channel and providing all of this detailed information about how to build motorcycles, how to maintain motorcycles, and how to enjoy motorcycles. It's quite a niche market. I'm never going to have 1 million subscribers, and I know this, but it sure would be fun to have 10,000 subscribers after all these years, so help me out there. Click like and subscribe. And go to Urban Monk TV, check out my book, Creating Mr. Corton. It's the story of building my cafe racer, which you can also watch here on this channel, every nut and bolt, every step of the way. But the book has details the video series does not, and talks about one person's journey falling in love with motorcycling. It's available on urbanmonktv.com. And then one more update on the channel. On the website. I have begun putting some resources out there, so you can now download service manuals for the motorcycles that I have worked on this channel. I'm working on the CX500. That one is yet to come. The only version of that I have is in individual PDFs, and I'm trying to get them all lumped together into one. But what is out there right now is the Suzuki GS550, and because I know a lot of you also work with the 450, I threw that manual up there too. And then the v-strom DL1000 first gen. That service manual is there if you would like to get a copy for yourself, so that you too can be an urban monk working on your own bike. So, tire cupping, what is it? Well, let's look at my bike and I'll try to explain this. Tire cupping is a phenomenon that occurs in motorcycle tires on the front tire mainly. Only in the rarest occasions, I think, would this happen on a rear tire, and in that case your suspension would be so shot that I feel you would know it. But two front tires here, the exact same tire, but one is brand new obviously, and the other one has quite a few miles on it. What you can see here obviously is that there's still a lot of tread left on this tire, and you say, well, why wouldn't you just keep going with this thing? You know, you can get your finger way down in the tread pattern yet, and there's just a lot of rubber there. So this is clearly a good tire, right? Well, not necessarily from all perspectives. So what you see here is that, and maybe in video this is difficult to see, I'll try another angle here to make this better, but each of these blocks, the height here is the same as the height in the middle, is the same as the height here, is the same as the height here, 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 right? It's all the same level. Here, the height here is actually a little bit higher than the height here. and then this is a little bit higher than over here. And if you run your finger along this, you can feel how these are kind of rounded off. And there's actually little cups that are cut out of this tread pattern as you go along. Let me change the camera angle and we'll try to look at this a different way. Another attempt to show it, you can see a little bit of like the shading right here where this surface is higher than this surface. It's a little worn in here. That reoccurs here. So if you consider the road contacting this, and obviously this would be smashed here, you know, with some pressure, the weight of the bike and myself on it and all that, but as this thing rolls around, it's really just hitting the absolute peaks of the tread pattern. And in fact, even the dust on this is helpful to show it. Okay, so you can see there's a bunch of dust on this board, 2x4, and as I roll it across here, I'm making contact here but not here, here but not here, and here, here but not here. And essentially, if you add that all up, well, this is your contact patch, right? That area, that moment, and it is a geometric area, and that contact area is the area in which this tire is contacting the road, and there's a friction coefficient there that if you're just rolling along, fine, no big deal, but if all of a sudden I apply the brakes back here and I'm trying to slow this wheel down, well then it is the friction between this contact patch and the road surface that is critical to me slowing my bike down. And because 80% of your braking happens in the front brakes, in the front wheel, the front contact patch is pretty important. And so as we get to a situation where we're cupping the tire, we're beginning to have less of a contact patch. Now, I will note that on the outside of the tread, this isn't happening as much because, of course, this area is still thicker than in the middle, because most of the time you're riding in a straight line and the friction is happening, and thus the wear is happening in the middle portion of the tire. And so when I'm turning on this tire, I'm still pretty safe. Pretty much the same situation as when this tire was new. But if I'm going in a straight line and I get into a situation where I have to brake hard, if I'm in a hard braking situation in a straight line with cupped tires, you know, there's a terminal maximum braking ability, right? That's all based on how much friction do I have with the road surface. Well, that matters, you know, is it a wet surface or a dry surface? What's that surface made of? How cold or warm is my tire? You know, the rubber will be either a little bit more grabby, grippy, that's a scientific term, grippy, and or not, you know, depending upon the temperature of the rubber. That's why they tell you don't ride your bike, you know, really hard right away. Like, ride a little while and warm them up first before you really start pushing your tires to their limits. Or don't push them to their limits. How about that? I'll do a video on how to, you know, be 50-something years old and ride motorcycles for, well, geez, 41 years now in my case, if you go back to my first dirt bike, and no injuries, I'm still here. There's a reason for that. That's a different video. But if you're trying to brake and you have cupped tires and a reduced contact patch, then you have reduced braking ability. That tire will begin to slip between the road and the rubber surface of the tire more easily or sooner with a cupped tire than with one that is not. So in the case of the Shinko 705s, you know, how long do I have before the tire is cupping? This particular tire, looking at my journal where I keep all my notes, I journal everything with my bike, right? Because what gets measured gets done. If it isn't measured, how would I know? New front at 67,890 miles. So I currently have 17,700 miles on this front tire. This is about when it begins, and when I know, I can start hearing it, like it whirs as I'm riding. It sounds like a bit like when some pickup truck with big knobby tires drives by you on the road. You can hear them, right? They're making a lot of noise. It just gets noisier. These aren't actually noisy tires when they're in good condition, but as they wear, yes, that front is going to start making noise. I kind of appreciate it. It tells me something, right? Can I keep riding this tire? At my own risk, right? I know my abilities. I know how far I'm going to push myself, but even myself, I don't know when someone's going to do something really crazy, pull out in front of me, and I got to go into hard braking, and then maybe there's like wet leaves on the ground at the time. You know, I don't know. Cupped tires or not, if you've got wet leaves on the ground, that's a whole nother situation. But 17,000 miles is pretty good, right? And you say, okay, well, you know, this tire is cupping before it's worn out. That's a manufacturer's defect, right? No, not at all. Grab another tire, put it on your bike, and see if you can get 17,000 miles out of it before you need to replace that tire, that brand, that model. These tires aren't meant to be ridden all the way down to where the tread pattern is nil in the front anymore. That's not the intention. That's not the way they were built. So you are going to be taking front tires. If you're running Shinko 705s, you are going to be taking front tires off while there still appears to be a whole bunch of tread left there. It's a matter of this cupping thing. Now, how far have I pushed cupped tires before? Well, a long way. I've actually pushed some of these tires to like 23,000 miles. I don't recommend it. It got extremely cupped and really noisy, and clearly, you know, in certain situations that would have been unsafe. For me, I'm in Southern California. Up until recently, it never rained here, or rarely rained. Now we're getting rain all the time, right? You guys are probably hearing about it in your news. But it just, you know, I had the ability to push it a bit. I would not recommend that you do that. So Shinko 705s, you're getting about 17,500, you know, 18,000 maybe before you really should pull them off. Depends on your riding, depends on the load, that kind of thing. Why do these tires cup? Well, they're radial tires. Radial tires have a propensity to cup more than bias ply tires, and these Shinko 705s are radials. They're tubeless. They're an extremely good value, but you just have to know that 17,000 miles is what you get out of a front. Divide that by what you paid for it, and we're talking fractions of a penny per mile. These are fantastic tires. I absolutely love them, mainly because I'm a very value-focused person. That radial nature of the belt pattern within fosters or promotes this cupping. It is not a defect with your suspension system. Don't go taking your bike into the dealer saying, hey, this bike is cupping tires, fix my front suspension, because they're going to be more than happy to say, well, we'll change the fluid or do something. You know, they'll take your business, but you probably don't need it. It's the radial nature of these tires. It is not your suspension. So that's really it. Shinko 705s, I'm going to keep running them on my Suzuki DL1000 v-strom. First gen, all the gens, these things fit, I believe. I don't think Suzuki has changed their tire with the new even 1150 XT models. I've gone many, many miles with heavy loads in all kinds of weather. You can see me ride across the country on some Shinko 705s in my Palms, Pines, and Fishing Lines cross-country trip video here. You'll see how far I get with a rear tire in super hot weather in the middle peak summer here in North America. And if you like motorcycling, again, check out my book, Creating Mr. Corton, available on Urban Monk TV. Click that subscribe button. Help me, guys, get to 10,000. I'm really excited to hit that milestone. And yeah, like and subscribe if you want to become an urban monk. Thanks for watching.